Hello everybody. I am Zachariah, the ghostwriter. I received a comment from Atlas Mukabuki 4707 and he wrote, please brother, tell us more about MALEBOHO cave because my ancestors, they keep showing me that mountain. MALEBOHO mountain, the mountain of my ancestors, the mountain of my forefathers, the mountain of my dreams. So many stories have been shared about other mountains, but not about MALEBOHO mountain. MALEBOHO mountain is special. If you check online, you will see a lot of videos about other mountains, but it's very rare to see videos about MALEBOHO mountain. It's only few, and those videos are my videos that you're going to get online. MALEBOHO mountain is different. MALEBOHO mountain is blessed. MALEBOHO mountain is the mountain of our ancestors. MALEBOHO mountain is just one of those mountains that swallow those who think they know it better. It swallows even the villagers. Unlike other mountains, you check Modimolle mountain, you will see a lot of videos. You will see people traveling from different provinces in South Africa, visiting that mountain and telling you about the power of that mountain, telling you the stories about that mountain. You know, even making videos and uploading videos online to show you that they've been, you know, on that mountain. I am one of those people who went to Modimolle mountain. And fortunately, I am one of the few people who also went to MALEBOHO mountain. So I have a story to tell. It's going to be a long video. I will give you the background. And I will also, you know, tell you things that I heard about that mountain. And I will also tell you things that I saw on that mountain. And I will also, you know, go deep into caves. I will speak about the gentleman who got the nickname Jesus, because of he saved people that he was praying with in the mountain, in the cave. Because in the middle of the night, there was a huge snake that wrapped around itself on his body because of, you know, it was winter and that snake was feeling warm in his jacket. So brothers has to keep praying so that the snake can eventually leave the cave. They prayed the whole night. I'm going to share that story with you guys. But first, let's talk about MALEBOHO mountain. MALEBOHO mountain is divided into two. There are people who are from the side of the king, the historical site, where if you Google online MALEBOHO mountain, you are going to find, you know, pictures like this. You are going to find information like this because it's more of a tourism attraction place. I've never been on that other side, but I checked few things online. And I know that, you know, those who are carrying the same name MALEBOHO, you know, they are celebrated a lot because they come from the royal family. Because there is the other gentleman that I saw also. He is in USA and he's doing wonders, you know, and he's carrying that same name because of that rich, you know, ancestral lineage that he comes from. And there is the other side, the side that I come from. And there is so much stories about that mountain from the side that I come from. And I'm going to speak much about, you know, that side where I come from. That side of Mokwena Tabing, you know, Mokwena Yafasi, Bohre, Laboli, you know, Taibos, Difriede, Grumugamahado. You know, I'm going to speak about this other side of the mountain. But even if you meet people who come from that side of the king, you know, they will always tell you stories, and other people will keep on telling you about Hamanna Asnamuriri. The mountain is super blessed. Now, I remember the first time I went to that mountain, I was told that before I climbed the mountain, I should, you know, speak with the chief, Ndona. And the chief will take my details and the chief will ask me questions and see if I'm fit to go on top of that mountain, because of the attire of going to you know, collect bodies which are known. They want to make things simple so that even if when you go there, they have your details, and if you are found there, you know, they will know exactly where your family stays. They're tired of finding bodies and they cannot even identify those bodies. They cannot even know where those people, you know, come from, because people die on that mountain. It's not a joke. And the painful part about that is that people who die the most are people who come from the nearest villages. It is not like somebody coming from KZN wanting to go and pray there and end up dying there. You know, there's only few people that I had, you know, talking about the MALEBOHO Mountain when I was at Val. They were like, hey man, there where you come from at MALEBOHO, that mountain is super blessed. We've been in different mountains, but that one is different, and that's true. That mountain is different. Then you go to that house of Ndona, then they will want your details and everything. But on that day when I went to that place, you know, the chief was not there, and I was told to go to the other house where they will go and help me. If, you know, the chief maybe is in the royal, you know, court, maybe they're dealing with some matters, you know, you can go to that other house where they can also help you. They're like, you know, what we can call the assistant to the chief, right? I went there, I found the other gentleman, and he highly discouraged me to go on that mountain. And he said to me, bro, the reason why we don't allow people to go there is because of we are tired of collecting bodies. We don't want to call the police when you are stuck on top of that mountain, or maybe when you died on top of that mountain, right? But I told the guy that I desperately need to go on top of that mountain because of hours alone. And I later discovered that people go on that mountain in groups. People go on that mountain in groups for certain reasons, because of they know that it is dangerous. There is animals which are so dangerous in a way that if you don't know the mountain and you don't know nothing about the mountain, it's easy for you to be attacked by wild animals, right? But I'm going to speak about them in this video. The guy discouraged me, but I spoke with him, and he eventually said, okay, no problem, my brother, this is the direction, just go all the way up there. And from Mukwena Tabing to the actual entrance of the mountain, it's a distance when you're walking, you know. But when I was on top of that mountain, I discovered that there is the other road that, you know, those who are driving, they are using so that, you know, they can reduce that distance, because of when you are walking, it's more dangerous than when you're driving. Because when you're driving, there is a driveway on the other side of the mountain whereby you can easily climb the mountain driving. It becomes easier than when you're walking, because when you're walking, you have to go and pass through dangerous places that people don't make it through those, you know, places. So I walked, I went there, get to the place, and when you just getting into the entrance of the place, the first thing that you're going to find there is water which comes from the river called Mastegu. I'm giving you all the background, my brother. I want you to get all the information since your ancestors are showing you that mountain. I'm not the jealous type of a guy. And the information that I'm sharing here, it is not taboo where I come from. Guys way older than me have been going to that mountain to pray way before I can start going to that mountain. And they taught their younger brothers, and their younger brothers, they still go to pray on that mountain. Caves that I'm talking about, people go to those caves, and they've been praying to those caves way before I can start going to those caves. So what I'm saying right now to people who come from the same village, like, oh man, it's an everyday story. But for you, because of you're not familiar with this type of stories, it might be scary for you. But to that side, it's just a normal story, and everybody knows. And even if, when people don't know you, they're going to point to you, they're like saying, you're not going to come back. They did that to me when I was going on that mountain with other 5 guys. But I'm going to share the story, don't worry. We got time. So you will see different types of, it's a river, right? But it has like what we call lakes, like Madiba. For a lack of better word, we'll just say lake, Madiba, whereby there will be a round circle, Mostly, when you listen to stories, they're saying boys will always be boys. Mostly during summer, they used to go and swim there, and many didn't make it out. Many died. Many felt like there was something which was pulling them. They have to call divers, and they had to advise people not to go there. And that's the reason why, even in our homes, because back in the days we used to cook with firewood, right? Our elders used to go to the forest to collect firewood, and they will make fire, and they had a main house where people were sleeping, and they will also have the other house or a room which is outside there where we make fire, where we cook. Normally they will be cooking there, and all the kids will be sitting there while we're waiting for the parents to cook, dinner for us. And that is the moment whereby the elders, find it as a great moment for them to educate us about the mountain. Because of that time, we are done with our homeworks. Now we're just waiting for the parent to finish cooking so that we can eat. And also, if it's summer and we can't, sit next to fire, they used to have what we call musha. It's an open space whereby they just decided to take the soil and make something like a stoop in Afrikaans, and they used to use what we call the cow dung, bologo, whereby they will just decorate the whole place. It's very deep, it's ancestral when we talk about cow dung. I will make a video one day speaking deep about it. So we will be sitting there because of it's extremely hot in the house and we were sleeping late. So they will be telling us about stories about that mountain. They were telling us those real stories so that we will know how, things happen. So many people, died on that mountain. Then, if I can paint a picture for you, when you start walking, there will be water on your left-hand side, which are that flowing from the river, because the river is up on top of the mountain, right? So, the more you're walking on that small path, there will be a mountain which is going up on this right hand side, and also there is a wall, the mountain going up on the left hand side. You are actually walking down the mountain, and when you look up, of course there is a lot of trees, but now because of people were dying, a lot of people were missing, they decided to cut those trees because they said it used to be bushy. It was very, very scary, because I remember the other old man one day when I was asking him about direction when I was walking. He told me about that specific place. He said, no, the problem about that mountain is that there is a place where you will be walking, it's a path. It's very, very dangerous because you will be going deep in the mountain, and if anything happens to you right there, you are not going to survive, because it's either you have to run forward or you have to run backwards, and it's going to be very difficult. So you will be walking, and you can see the edge of the mountain is way, way, way up there. And also on this other side, even if you want to climb there, it will take maybe an hour or two. If you fit, maybe you can take about an hour to get on top of the mountain. This is how deep it is. And the more you walk there, you will find things like Didiba. And I think there are two. Then if you keep going, then you will find another big round circle. And the thing about that place, it is so deadly, and many people lost their lives there because of water comes from the river and it pours deep in there, and nobody knows how deep that circle is. As we hear stories, they said the thing about it is that if you fall inside that round circle, surprisingly, when people die, their body will be on top of water, will be floating. But unfortunately, when it comes to that, the human body will be underneath. So the divers will have to dive deep and go and search for the body down there. Obviously, we know that there is the landlord, because many divers who went down there, they came back and told people that we can see the person, but unfortunately, now is not the right time because of the landlord is still with him. Don't ask me how the landlord looks like. This is the story that we've been told as we grow up, and because of same thing keep happening over and over again, everybody understand that without questioning, there is something, even if we cannot describe how it looks like, but there is something that lives down there, and Next to that round circle on your left hand side, there is stairs that you can go up with, but they're shaky. I've climbed those stairs, several times. They are not that solid to those stairs, and if you make a mistake, you are going to fall in that round circle. Right on top, when you're done with the stairs, you turn to your right, then there is a pipe. You walk on top of that pipe, then you'll turn again to the right, and that's where the river flows. Now the river will pour water into that big round circle. Once you jump the river, you jump to the other side of the river. Now the mountain is flat. Now you can imagine the distance when you are climbing those stairs going up. So once you jump the river, then you'll be on top of the mountain. It's going to be flat. Now you're going to see the entire river, Masteku. Stories about that river are crazy. Now when you are there on top of Masteku, it will be on your left hand side. If you want to go to a place that they call Fasthering, there is a cave that they call the Fasthering, and the reason why they call that cave the Fasthering means a window. The reason why they call it the Fasthering is because of there on top, it has a round space whereby the sun can shine inside. But it's a distance walking from where I'm telling you, where you're jumping the river to the Fasthering. But before you get to the Fasthering, there is a cave on your right hand side, and that cave is just one of those dangerous caves, because when you get into that cave, you crawl. Unlike other caves where you're walking, that one you have to crawl. And if it's 2 or 3 of you guys, you need to know that once you're going in, you're crawling, and if you find the situation not favorable, there is absolutely no way you can turn around. You have to go backwards. You have to crawl backwards now to exit. And you cannot enter the cave, not head first. You have to crawl, seeing what you are going to face. And unfortunately, if the landlord is in there and you face the landlord, head on, it's just something that we cannot even speak much about. And many people who went there, have seen the creature which lives there, and they describe it. It is so scary, I cannot even try to describe what they have been sharing to people, about the landlord of that cave. It's just something that you cannot even imagine, that can come out of that Masteku River and go into the cave and have, those type of, it's just deadly. Because I remember when the guy was telling me the story, and he said they went there and the landlord was in there. Going back was just a movie, because he has to tell the other guys, like, guys, we have to go out. We have to start crawling backwards because of the landlord is in here. Lucky good enough, the landlord didn't rage. The landlord didn't attack them. It just showed them that I'm here, I don't want any disturbance, and they had to crawl back. Now there are so many caves which are not even discovered on that mountain, because of it is just one of those mountains that people don't want to be the first to try something and be surprised. Now when you continue with that road, when you go into the Fasthering, there is what we call lakes, for a lack of better word, MALEBOHO, on both sides. Because I remember the day I went there, the day I found, somebody who left the cap there because of the situation was tough. I went to the other Budiba, and when I was walking, because it's a small passageway walking, it's Budiba on both sides, water on both sides. And I looked on my right hand side. Have you seen when you see something and you felt like you were imagining it? You didn't really see it. You pass by and you stop and you ask yourself questions like, am I dreaming? Or did I actually see what I thought I saw? Then I had to walk backwards and double check, because I am that type of a person. I hate to guess. I want to be sure about the situation because I have only one rule. When I go to mountains, rivers, and caves, we are not running. Running is not an option. I am not running. I don't care how difficult the situation is. I don't care how dirty the situation is. If there is a rock, I hide behind the rock. If there is a tree, I climb the tree. I'm not running. Because I've realized that most people got injured because of they decided to run from the situation, not knowing that they are making the situation worse. And sometimes they end up falling and breaking their ribs or breaking their arms or whatever because of they were running in a space whereby they were not even supposed to run. They were just supposed to hold their ground and believe in their God. So I went back and I checked, and okay, this is actually what I saw. It was not a dream. It is what I saw. I am not going to cause a scene. I am not going to run. I'm going to continue walking the way I was walking in silence, and that's it. That time I'm on my way to the Fasthering, the cave that I'm talking about. And if you ask information about MALEBOHO Mountain, 9 out of 10 times people will tell you about the Fasthering, the window, right? If you say, I went to MALEBOHO Mountain, they're like, have you ever been to Fasthering? You're like, yeah, I've been there. Like, yeah, you know the mountain. You know, that's how it is. Because of things that do happen there, right? I got to the Fasthering, and when I got there, I realized that on the left-hand side, there is a space whereby people can find like refuge. If it's raining, if it's windy, they can just hide on the left-hand side. That's where they make fire. That's where they cook and do stuff, right? Straight in the middle, that's the Fasthering. It's wide open, but there on top it's open there, so you can see the sun is shining, and there is amabidi, like 2 round circles. And you will forgive me, guys. All the time when I say budiba, you need to know that I talk about water, which is just that round circle, water like lahagwa. In my home language, we call that water lahagwa. The water which stuck in there, maybe because of came with rain or the river, but it's not moving anyway, just stuck. Just make it a round circle like a dam, you know, like a small dam. So, but I'm just using a lake for a lack of better word, right? So there is 2 of them inside that cave. The other one is black and the other one is green. I don't remember if the black is the first one, the green is the second one, but the other one is black and the other one is green. They are next to each other. That sun is shining direct to one of those circles. But the thing about them is that you cannot see what is underneath. The green one, you still see that layer, that thing, they call it crocodile one. It's like more, when you see that, normally there is a crocodile which is living in there. You know, that green layer which will be covering it, and the other one is just black. Then when you look further, you know, the cave goes all the way. You know, it's dark on the other side, but here it's only the light which is shining there. So I went there, of course, I prayed, and I saw somebody forgot the cap there. No problem. Things do happen. People go and pray, and sometimes the situation doesn't favor them. I prayed, and when I'm done, I have to walk back, and I have to pass that place where I saw what I saw. With the Great Spirit, I walked there like I don't even know that I saw something there. Like I'm not even aware that there is something there. I just look on the side and I saw that, okay, still there. Then I continue with my trip. Now, there is the other cave when you are there on top of the mountain that I had people talking about. But they're saying this cave is dominated a lot by the apostolos. Those apostles, you know the apostles, mostly when they are into a cave and they prefer that cave a lot and they communicate or they pray a lot into that cave and they get a lot of blessings, they start leaving things like red and white wool and stuff like that. You start seeing things like red candles, blue candles, yellow, white candles. You're like, okay, the apostles are the ones who are dominating mostly into these caves. And it's known, even in the village, when you're talking, people will tell you that there's a cave on the other side which is dominated by the apostles and things like that, right? And when you come from the Fasthering and you're walking to that direction where I came from of Mashtegu will be on your right hand side, right? Because you're walking back. When you look on your left hand side, the mountain keeps going up now. Remember, we are on top of the mountain as we were once below, and the mountain was way over our heads. Now we are on top of the mountain, which we call the edge. But surprisingly, when you look at your left hand side now, the mountain keeps going up. In a way that I got tempted to keep climbing higher and see what is above my head, right? But the thing is that on top of that mountain, there is this rumor that we used to hear growing up about this other snake. I forgot what they call it, with English. The snake that they said it moves from a tree to a tree. It doesn't move on the ground. It moves from this tree, it flies, it goes to the other tree, it flies. I've seen the video online, on YouTube they have that video. If you just Google the snake that flies over the tree, you will know the snake that I'm talking about, and you will see it. Because I remember those guys who used to go and hunt there at night, they used to complain a lot about that snake. They said it's a deadly snake, and the problem about it is that it is so difficult to run away from that kind of snake, And when I was there, of course, on top of the mountain, the thing that made me feel like I don't want to go higher and see what's going on there is because of once you're there on top of that mountain, you start hearing different types of sounds that you cannot even describe. And others are like birds, but this bird sounds different. You just hear a lot of sounds. And that reminded me what we used to hear growing up when they said there are certain snakes that can make certain sounds, like maybe a goat. And if you're a shepherd, you will think maybe one of your goat is missing and you will go to that other side, only to find out that you are at a wrong place. Others will make a sound like a baby crying. So